My girlfriend outed me to my family. I'm 24M, and she's 31F. I'm bisexual, but it's not something I talk about, especially not with my family. Admittedly, I've never had a public boyfriend or what could be described as a relationship with a man. As far as my family knows, I'm straight. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years, and I only recently introduced her to my family. On the last day of the visit to my parents, we were all outside around the fire. Some people, including my girlfriend, were drinking wine. That's when she made a comment about me being bisexual. Everyone heard. I froze up in that moment and gave her a look. She laughed it off, played with my hair, and kept talking. Luckily, it came across as a joke to most of my family, but not my dad. His demeanor that night changed, and the morning before I left, he was being distant. I just know he's thinking about what she said, and it's really messing with my head. To give you a bit of an idea about him, he's very rigid and conservative. I started modeling some years ago, and he's had a hard time with that. When I went to Europe for work and he saw some of the editorials my mom showed him, he hated the looks, and I became very selective about what I shared with him. I'm back in my city now, and I live with my girlfriend. I'm so angry at her, but she claims it was a slip-up from being drunk. Personally, no amount of alcohol would have me outing someone in front of their family. She only had 1 glass of wine. Instead of apologizing, she's focusing on how I should just distance myself from my family if they won't accept me. Am I the a-hole for hanging on to this? My girlfriend thinks I'm being immature and holding on to a grudge. Edit to include, my girlfriend knows I'm bi. I do disclose to partners. I just don't disclose publicly. I think it's unnecessary and not anyone's business who I'm attracted to except the people I'm involved with. My girlfriend also knew I wasn't out to my family, and even though she only met them recently, she knew how they are. Update 1, I wanted to thank everyone for reading and responding to my situation. I tried to have a healthy conversation with my girlfriend to communicate how I felt, but it wasn't getting anywhere. Why is it so difficult to acknowledge a mistake and apologize? She said she's stressed out about work, and instead of being a support to her, I'm adding to her stress by being hung up on this issue. It's not that I am hung up on it, she refused to, at any point, let me express anything. It stretched out our conflict, which could have been resolved in one meaningful discussion. Even during this conversation, she walked away from me, so I decided to take a shower. When I got out, I was using the hair dryer. I couldn't hear that well over the thing, and sometimes you think you heard something, but it's nothing. But after a few seconds, I turned it off to listen. It was definitely a scream or yell. Immediately, I went to the kitchen. She had dropped some glasses and had cut her foot. She was sitting on the floor. I helped her. She told me she's just overwhelmed and has too many things to think about lately. After a few minutes, the bleeding had pretty much stopped, but she insisted on having me take her to the ER. I told her she'd be waiting for hours for nothing because she didn't need stitches. This is when she just exploded. We were still on the floor. She pulled her hands out of mine and slapped me. It was so fast. My face was close to hers when it happened, and I didn't see it coming. She just started yelling at me to get away from her and saying, "You really don't care. You took so long to come because you've been holding a grudge against me," referring to the incident at my parents' house, along with some other things. I comforted her until she calmed down. She's never done anything like this before. And I guess when she hit me, she ended up scratching my face with her nail, and it was bleeding a little. I hadn't noticed, but she did, and she apologized and wanted to take me into the bedroom to clean the blood and put ointment on it. I told her it was fine, but she got really fixated on taking care of me and started getting upset again because I said it was fine, so I gave in. The next day, she posted a photo of her foot and a bandage on her Instagram story. I didn't think anything of this post, but this weekend I learned she had canceled some plans with friends, claiming we had an incident. But I think she made it seem like I did something wrong. The reason I think this is because one of her friends, whom I am working on a project with, said something like, "Resorting to violence is a red flag." I asked him to explain what the hell that means, but he refused to clarify. I talked to my girlfriend about it, but she's pleasant with me, fusses over my scratch, which is barely even there anymore, and says she doesn't know what the friend was talking about. She even apologized for how she handled what she said in front of my family. I feel like an asshole now. I know this felt long-winded, but I didn't know how else to explain why I feel so emotionally exhausted. I'm starting to realize that maybe I was too focused on my own fear of what my family overheard that night that I stopped paying attention to everything else. About my dad, since my last update, I also reached out to my dad and asked him if anything that was said the night before I left made him feel a certain way and if he wanted to talk about it with me. He said he was confused by what she said. I'm bisexual? What's that supposed to mean? I'm glad we had a conversation. I think it was a first of many we're going to have in the future, and although it didn't feel as cathartic or even as much of a relief as I thought it would, we ended on a note that felt like at least we could have more talks. Personally, I just hate labels and having to explain sexuality and stuff to anyone. But I understand that, in the long run, it's probably a good thing to be open with family. I'm trying. Final update, your comments have been overwhelming, but I'm taking them to heart. I appreciate the stories you've shared with me. They are what help the most. I told someone this in a DM, but if it wasn't for the personal experiences that were shared with me, I think I would have stayed. It was really hard not to argue against the advice I was initially receiving. I can't explain exactly why I felt such a strong compulsion to go on the defensive, but I am starting to realize that my perception is very distorted. It's something I'm still struggling with a lot, and it feels like I need constant reminders, or reality checks, to hold on to the understanding I've gained. Because there is a lot of concern being expressed, I just wanted to come on and share that I am okay. Don't worry about me. I am trying to come up with an exit strategy, but it's complicated. I mostly just wanted to reassure you and thank you.